Hello everyone, my name is Danielle Roan and I'm a speech pathology student, and I wanted to make a video around for students making the most of the Speech Pathology Australia conference. So why am I making this video? Well, I have had the wonderful opportunity to attend both the Sydney 2017 and the Adelaide 2018 National Speech Pathology Australia conferences, and at both of these conferences I have been a student, so I've really been able to grow and build on both of these conferences in my approach as to how to make the most of it, and I want to share these learnings with other students. And I just also wanted to, in a way, address potential feelings of intimidation by students that might otherwise keep them away from the conference, because I appreciate that it is certainly a wonderful experience, but as a student you might not feel that you really belong there, but actually I've come to learn that students are really valued at this conference. So just wanted to encourage you as best as I can to attend and give you practical ways of helping you make the most of it. So first things first, when you want to register, I would encourage you to first look at the conference registration brochure, and an example of the Sydney conference is there in the link below. And this brochure will show the available sessions, and in this way you can review the brochure, and I would encourage you to record your preferences as to which sessions you would like to watch prior to registering. And that's because the sessions do fill up, and so if you've already recorded a couple of preferences for each session, then it will make it faster when you actually go to register, and just make that a bit more efficient for you. So this is a picture of the conference program from the 2018 conference, and it is certainly your Bible. You will want to take it everywhere you go, and I will now discuss aspects of the brochure. So on the right is an example of the Monday program at the latest conference. So you can see at the top there's this highlighted darkened section, and that basically goes through the structure of the day. So to start with, there's a keynote presentation, then there's morning tea, then there's a session, lunch, afternoon tea, a session, and so it's good to be broken up in that way. And each session that you've selected will be coded. So for example, if you selected the first session on a Monday, and that happens to be in room A, the code for that will be M1A. So you're not likely to remember when you're there what sessions you had booked in for, but if you look at the back of your name badge, it'll have all of the codes there of the sessions that you preference to attend, so that will help you know where you need to go and which ones you are going to. And then within the sessions, there's usually about 5-10 minute presentations about the latest research, and there might be a couple of poster or shorter presentations. And the difference between those sessions and the keynote in the morning is that the keynote speaker presentation usually goes for the whole length of a session, so a much longer, say an hour and a half period, and that person is usually a well-renowned, well-researched speech pathologist who certainly has some noteworthy things that everyone is encouraged to attend and listen to. So that's the main difference and something to look forward to for each day. And I would also encourage you to plan how you're going to take notes, because you will have this conference brochure with you, which is quite heavy, and you might have other bits and pieces. So for example, on the right here, within the brochure, each presentation will have an abstract, and I used this space at the bottom in order to take my notes, so that way I didn't need to take an additional notebook with me. So at the conference in addition to the sessions, there will also be posters, because of course lots of people produce evidence and work throughout the year, but not everyone can present within a session. So the conference allows people to submit posters, and there can be both a combination of physical and e-posters. So the picture of me on the bottom was at 2017 when I presented my e-poster about my honours research, and so that was in the form of a computer where people could scroll through the different posters and look at the ones that they were interested in, whereas at Adelaide they didn't have any e-posters, only physical posters. And in a way I actually preferred that, because on different occasions the authors of the posters were there at their stand, and that was a wonderful networking opportunity for me to go and introduce myself, because they're just waiting there for people to talk to them, and their poster was right there. We had something to talk about, and just getting to know them and the work that they've done, and that was a really fantastic opportunity. But even if you don't get a chance to look at every poster at the conference, again, in the brochure there's a whole section on posters, and there'll be a blurb about each poster, and you can contact the author that way. So also at the conference there are exhibition and sponsor stalls, and most likely you'll only be able to look at these in your morning tea and lunch breaks, because the rest of the time you might be in sessions. And these are a fantastic way of learning about new products, and at the conference they might have promotional discounts for the products, so you might get them at a cheaper price. You can also practice certain technology. So for example, once I practiced an eye gaze system, whereas I'd previously never even seen one, so that was really good to get that insight as to how that would work for a person. And below on the left you can see that particular occasion was a stall presenting different dysphagia cups and dysphagia spoons. So yeah, it might be an opportunity to see products you haven't otherwise come across. And again, there's a networking opportunity to talk to the exhibition stall holders, and they might be able to share some really great insights with you, or direct you as to who else you might want to talk to, that sort of thing. So this is the slide that I'm probably most excited to share with you, the networking slide. The picture on the right I have intentionally blurred to preserve the privacy of the conference attendees. And the reason I'm so excited about this is because, especially as a student, networking is probably the biggest benefit of the Speech Pathology Australia conference. You're getting prepared to graduate, you don't know where you're going to work, and so it's just the best way of meeting speech pathologists who genuinely could potentially be your future employers. So when you register, you can opt to list your contact details that will then go onto this contact list. And so on this column here, it's got names of attendees, and people can list their organisation. Some people don't list their organisation. It will have the state that they've come from or their country, and it will also have their email address. So of course, not everyone will opt to have their contact details listed, but a vast majority will. And so when you're at the conference, everyone will have their name badge on them, so that can be a great way of getting to know people's names. And I use this contact list as a resource. So when I would meet someone and have a conversation with them, when that conversation was finished, I would discreetly either make a note in my phone about their name, or pull out my contact list and highlight them in pink. And likewise for people who I didn't necessarily meet in person, but I watched their presentation, I highlighted them in yellow. And so then after the conference, I sent follow-up emails to all of these people. So for people who I'd met in person, I might say, hey, it was great to meet you. I love chatting with you about X, Y, and Z. And that really shows that you cared enough about them to remember what you talked about, and it's more valuable than just, hey, it was great to meet you. And likewise, the people whose presentations I watched, I might say, hey, it was great to watch your presentation on X, Y, and Z. I really found this and this interesting. Would love to keep in touch, that kind of thing. And it was great to see that within a month after the conference was over, in total I had 29 replies from over 50 emails that I sent. And in general, most of the comments were around well wishes, but there were the occasional emails around tips for me for applying for jobs, and also letting me know potentially that there could be a job available with that person into the future. So the way I see it is that into the future, when I'm applying for a job with a particular company, say if there's a key contact, I can go into my sent box in my email and see, have I actually made contact already with this person? And you never know if that's going to give you an edge over other applicants because you'd already taken that time to meet them. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope that will make a difference for me and also for you too. And of course, the conference encourages delegates to use the hashtag SPAconf on Twitter, and you can get to meet people that way. And most of all, I'd encourage you to be brave, meet new people, start the conversation, and you never know where it will lead. So just remember, presenters are usually very experienced. They have been in the profession a long time and therefore, of course, have a lot to say. Researchers are important. They're the ones who are building the evidence base for us and helping us to know how we can best help our clients. But likewise, clinicians are important, and they're the ones who are the hands and feet of the profession and making that that ground difference in people's lives. And so I just think it's important also to remember that you as a student are important. I struggled when I've been at these conferences at different times to feel like I wasn't, why am I here? I haven't had that much clinical experience, like I don't have much to offer. But actually you do, because you're offering just your presence there at the conference, and you never know how much it's going to encourage a presenter to say, hey, I really admire you and your work and your research, and I admire the difference that you've made in clients' lives, and I want to be a great speech pathologist like you. And also, we are the future of the profession. So, students are very important as well, and you are valued as a conference attendee. And most of all, have fun. These conferences are usually at fun places. I really enjoyed exploring Sydney and Adelaide at both of the conferences that I've been to. So it is a fantastic opportunity. So just make the most of it and have fun. Thank you very much for listening, and feel free to send me a follow-up email if you'd like to get in touch. Thank you.